Yo, 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 it is your boy, A Sincere, back with my co-stars. To my right hand virtual side, we got the one, the only.
No, Reek, that's cool.
Hey, that's Narik, that's cool. And down below us virtually, we got the one, the only
Skywalker Mike.
the low end god. What is good, y'all? My name is A Sincere once again. This is the Soundflick Podcast, episode 59.
59.
We are getting there. We are
5-9.
We're close to triple digits.
We're on the
Close.
backside now.
A little less.
Backside of triple digits now.
Yeah.
Just about. You know what, boys? Every episode we get better and better. The energy is always right. With that being said, let's kind of just jump right into it. We got a lot of nerdy things to talk about. A lot of things to talk about in general.
So many movies, so many trailers, so many reveals,
so much nerd.
A lot is going on. All of
so much. The multiverse is happening.
Yeah,
the multiverse. Yeah, just it's all Mephisto, boys. That's all it is. It's all Mephisto.
Yeah.
I wonder when we'll ever see him, if ever.
If ever. At this point, I feel like when people do see Mephisto, it's gonna be huge.
They're gonna be like, "That's Mephisto." It's all underwhelming.
Yeah.
We did it to ourselves. So.
That'd be funny if they casted Robert Downey Jr. to be Mephisto, just to mess with everybody.
I don't think Marvel will ever live up to the hype.
Nah, it's gonna be hard. That one's gonna be hard for sure.
That's gonna be the biggest fan service yet. Is the Mephisto. But anyways, with that being said, let's jump right into it. We got some quick flick news for you guys. Of course, the number one and at least I think is the most anticipated film of the year. We got Spider-Man finally giving us just a bit, just a little tease, just a little tablespoon of something.
Yeah.
We finally got a Spider-Man poster, guys.
That poster looks crazy.
I'm gonna plug 3C Films really quick. I get all my weird updates from this dude. But I guess there was a similar poster that was leaked, but it was in Australia. So I think the poster we got yesterday was made specifically for the US, and it was just a tad bit better than the one that was leaked a couple days ago.
So do they release these just in that country and expect it not to get leaked to the other countries?
My assumption is someone doesn't drop wrong.
Yeah, because the internet doesn't abide by those rules. It's like, oh, this is only supposed to be the US. Let's not post this. So.
Yeah, especially if it's the same language. Of a country. It's like it
Australia,
doesn't really matter.
UK,
exactly.
America.
They can understand what they know what we're reading, right?
Yeah, but I saw that same poster, and the difference, one of the major differences is the Australian poster had Spider-Man's extra, for some reason tentacles keep coming into my head.
But right.
Arms?
Extra arms.
Like the robotic arms?
Yeah, the robotic arms, the instant kill arms.
Yes. And then in the new poster that we got, there were no extra arms, but there was extra villains that we got in ours. So I thought that was pretty dope.
Except for the lizard.
Yeah, he don't get no love.
There's that theory where people are saying it's Venom. I mean, it's probably wrong, but
I feel like Lizard is gonna be really quickly, he'll be part of it, but I think he's gonna be because
reptilians get no love, bro.
Well, he's still also Peter Parker's college professor, so I think he's gonna revert back eventually and be like, well, I'm not really a threat, and you still have Vulture and Mysterio. That will probably pop up, and then you have the rest of the other four.
Yeah, Vulture has been, I don't know how long he's been in jail, but yeah, it feels like quite some time now. And I thought we were going to get him again in the last.
Did he blip? Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. We don't know. We still don't know the effects of certain people getting blipped or not.
Right.
And, did he get out of jail because half of the guards got blipped, or he got blipped and when he came back, he just wasn't in jail no more? I don't know. It's hard to say.
the raft was something else.
Yeah.
Right,
they definitely need to address a lot of that. And I just have a sneaky suspicion that Marvel's not going to address it. Like, I think it's too much for them to keep track of, that they're going to just start to like move forward to after that. Yeah. But I think one of the most intriguing parts is finding out who was actually around and who wasn't during the 5-year gap, or seeing, you know, some movie take place in that half, you know, in the time that half the world is gone.
Yeah.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah, all in all, boys, you know, it's at this point it's a month away, maybe a little over a month away, and we're probably not going to get a second trailer. Just what I think.
I think we will.
We will. I think we will.
I think we will. I mean, Disney Plus Day is coming. I mean, they'll just drop it there just because, probably.
Not Disney Plus Day, because none of the Spider-Man movies are on Disney Plus.
That's true. Unless they want to make that announcement that Spider-Man movies just are going to be on Disney
Plus. Like a little extra.
That'd be great.
I mean, Sony did sign a deal with Netflix, and I think
it was Amazon, I believe.
No, it was
Disney. It was Netflix. That's where Into the Spider-Verse is going to be there when it drops too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it seems like that the Sony Marvel movies are going to be able to be on Netflix first before they hit Disney Plus.
Yeah, because I think they did another contract for the year after with Disney Plus. I believe so. I believe.
But we'll double check that and hit you guys with the streaming wars for that one. But you know, it's crazy. I don't need another trailer, to be honest. Like, they could hit this super unorthodox, and I don't need to see anything else. I don't need to know anything more about the movie, and I'm already there. They got my money.
I kind of felt the same way about the Morbius trailer. Like, I remember seeing the first teaser trailer and was like, "Oh, this seems pretty cool."
Right.
And then we finally get this second trailer, and it's like, "Wow, this looks even more better. Amazing." You know, like, I didn't think that a trailer can get better. You know, I don't feel like it showed too much. I feel like both trailers are just kind of like they're really well done. I don't know. I don't really like trailers, but the way they're setting up the trailer to make it seem like it's in all the universes too, or just in that universe, all those things exist in Morbius's universe. I don't know. I know Sony's trying to build like their own Spider-Verse too.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, they're still able to use a lot of Marvel Disney properties like Vulture. And what else? I think that was it. I think just Vulture was in it, which connected it to the Tom Holland universe.
Right, yeah.
Pretty cool. And then it connected to the Venom universe, to the Andrew Garfield universe, I believe.
And then you get Oscorp and coming in, and the Raimi
poster.
Right.
Yeah, the Raimi poster is the murder poster.
It's really crazy, just what they're doing and how they're throwing all of us for a loop. I really liked the Morbius trailer. I was so surprised. And Morbius, the living vampire, for some of those who don't know, he was a Spider-Man villain who was closely associated with Felicia Harding, and there's another doctor who is trying to find a cure with him. And it's so crazy. Fun fact, in the 1994 Spider-Man TV show, they didn't want any blood or any reference to blood to be made. So the Morbius in that show said that he had a craving for plasma. So he would use plasma, and the hands that he had were they had like these like little hand suckers. So he would like grab people and then like suck all the plasma out of them. And I don't know, to me, it was infinitely more scary. Like thinking about somebody who had these hands, like who could just suck the life force out of you.
Right.
But I never knew growing up that that wasn't a part of Morbius actually. So when I saw the trailer, I was like, well, where's the hand?
Where's his hand?
Yeah, like where is it?
Yeah.
And then I ended up looking that up.
I still don't even know if there will be a lot of blood shown in the Morbius movie because it's PG-13. I know it probably minimal amount of blood, you know, like a little splatter.
I feel like there's always minimal blood in any Marvel film that's not Deadpool.
But in a vampire movie, you would think,
right?
Like, I mean, even upcoming the Blade movie, like, is that going to be rated R? I feel like that has to be rated R, but that's the only time we'll tell, and we'll see that.
Yeah, we are gonna find out how Disney's going to do their horror, because it seems like that they're going into that route with Blade and with Dane Whitman and with Mark Spector and Oscar Isaac, playing Moon Knight. So it's gonna be pretty crazy. I know we're definitely gonna get into some Oscar Isaac today, because we all saw Dune.
This man is making moves. Oscar Isaac is making.
He's been killing it, bro. He's been killing it. So he's on a run right now. And more power to him. I'm glad that he's getting into the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Well, let's kind of just, since we already touched on Morbius, let's kind of just stay on track and kind of just jump into Dune. What do you guys think?
Sure. You guys want to do Dune first or harder?
We'll do Dune first. Let's do Dune
first.
We're already talking about Oscar Isaac, which, honestly, man, everybody had their shine in this film.
Yeah,
everybody had their moments. So shout out to Timothée Chalamet, except for Zendaya.
I was like, the whole movie, I was like, okay, so when is Zendaya gonna play a role?
Hey, man, Zendaya just used to be in my dreams.
Yeah, she's just in my dreams, bro. Man.
I just, in the trailer, it seemed a little bit different, but at the same time, I see what they're trying to do, and I'm okay with it.
You see what they're trying to
do?
They
just used her for promo, bro. That's it. They were like, Zendaya's in the film. Watch it.
I wonder if there's a cut of the movie where she's... No, probably not. Just the way the story is laid out, it doesn't seem likely that she's in it.
They're just setting up more parts, right? Because obviously we already got the confirmation like a week of that Dune 2 got the green light.
Yeah, my friend said that it seems like they're trying to set up Dune like they did Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, that's the kind of feel that I got from it. And upon like looking into Dune, I didn't realize the type of fan base that it had, but a lot of people said that Star Wars and it's Star Trek and a lot of those things like kind of come from that. That they've come from that
off the books, not because I think the books came out in the 60s, and then Star Wars came out in the 70s, and then the Dune movie, the first Dune movie, came out in 84, I think.
Well, the way I view it is Dune, like making those visual comparisons to like Star Wars.
It's like episode 4, I think.
Right. So making those visual comparisons, it's way more horrific. And it's way more like, if that shit were to happen, it's very probable to those things, rather than it kind of feeling very, very like outlandish, the word, like overdone, like kind of trying to go over the top with it. Where this is very like, even though it's not Earth, it's very down to earth. If that makes sense, like very close to what the planet is, and like if we're on that planet, and we're kind of done.
Yeah, that desert planet is really cool. It did give me episode 4 vibes of Tatooine. It was really cool. Obviously, it's not as sandstormy on Tatooine. I think they said in the movie that the sandstorms on Arrakis can cut through steel or something like that. And then there's like certain native people that can survive the desert because they've lived there for, I don't even know, more than thousands of years. I don't even remember their whole lifetime, pretty much. The Fremen or something like that. I literally just saw the movie. I did really enjoy it though. I really just love that fantasy and sci-fi aspect. And then again, the cast was amazing. I mean, they had Timothée
Chalamet. Yeah, so Timothée Chalamet. We
Jason
got
Momoa,
Aquaman,
Zendaya, Oscar Isaac, Javier
Josh
Bardem.
Brolin.
Oh yeah, Josh Brolin. Javier Bardem is in it.
Yeah. Star-studded.
Yeah, you got Rebecca Ferguson.
Yeah, Rebecca Ferguson.
Ferguson. Stellan Skarsgård. We got Dave Bautista.
So many Skarsgårds nowadays. Are they all related?
Yeah,
they are.
I think there's like 3 of them that are like in show business.
No, Stellan's the dad, right? That's That's the Doctor from the
Thor.
MCU, right?
Okay.
And then he has
oh, so he's
three sons in the acting business. One of them being Pennywise, so on and so forth.
Bill.
We have Bill, Peter, and I forget the last one's name because he's not too big. But aside from that, we got Dave Bautista. David, I always mess up his name, but it's
Dave Bautista had a small role.
Dashalamel.
That's
like that.
That's the dude who's in
Polka Dot Man,
right?
Polka Dot Man.
Yeah. He's an Ant-Man and he's Polka
Dot
Man. Yes, Baba Yaga. Yeah, that's him.
Yeah. But honestly, I feel like the cast was really done well. The dialogue was done really well. I didn't get to see it in theaters. I feel like I really would have enjoyed it in theaters. Not that I didn't already enjoy it, but I tried to put my TV to the highest setting, and I was like, okay, this sounds good. But just that surround sound feel of the sounds, and then you're just in a dark room, and the theater just hits different, for every movie. And this is one of those movies, if you are going to see it, I think it is definitely worth watching in a theater. Right. But if you already have HBO Max and you just want to have a cool movie night,
that's how I watch it.
It's still a good watch at home too.
Yeah,
I watched that at home.
Shout out HBO Max.
Me and the fam, and it was cool. I made it, and I watched it late too, which was very bold. I watched it late at night, and really I knocked out like.
We do not advise that because I knocked out also.
Watch it middle of the day if you could, or closer to at least not after 8. Don't watch it after 8 because it's a pretty lengthy movie. As there's a lot of dialogue, so it can feel like it drags on a lot, I guess, but it's really cool. I really like the storytelling. I really like some of the action too is really cool. I like the shields that they have.
The whole body shield / being able to see when they're punctured. Yeah, bro.
That's like some Smash Bros thing. Like when you pop the bubble up, type thing.
Now we know what the live action Smash Bros movie is going to be like.
Gosh.
It's just Dune, but it's Smash Brothers.
Yeah. And then Jason Momoa was the coolest, honestly, soldier. I mean, I guess Josh Brolin's character too was pretty cool.
Right.
Who was played by Patrick Stewart in the original movie. I think that's hilarious.
That's great.
That's pretty cool. How young was he at the time, Patrick Stewart?
Honestly, Patrick Stewart
young, but he looked old. That's why it's funny.
He hasn't aged, bro. Patrick Stewart's looked 80 since he was 20.
Yeah.
Sheesh,
it's just the bald head, man. I don't know what he looks like with hair. Patrick Stewart with hair is
the oldest he looked was in Logan, and he was just acting in Logan. Even then, he was really just acting, and he put makeup to look older.
I mean, he was just himself in Logan, but
just about.
Yeah. I thought Dune. I was just echoing your sentiments. I thought that the world building in Dune was really cool. I'm excited for this movie to be another, franchise kind of world building thing. And this part 1 set the stage. I kind of understood the expectations. I think a lot of people maybe were, who read the book knew that this was going to be a dialogue heavy, just kind of setting the stage for everything. Right. And even the director and cast was very vocal about what to expect from this part 1 and how part 2 will have more action and, just kind of it gets cracking, in part 2. But
it's the setup. You gotta start from ground 1. You have such an intricate world. Intricate story, all these backstories, and it was all done really, really well.
And I'm glad it was done like that. I honestly didn't know what to expect from the movie, but I really just thought it was going to be straightforward. I didn't know they were going to set up for a second one. So, thinking now, seeing how long it was, it's like, okay, that makes sense. You really just want to set up for the next 2 movies, and it was done well. It didn't feel like it ended on a cliffhanger. I feel like I got a really good amount of movie before there was actually a setup. So,
I mean, I would have loved Dune as a TV series also instead of a movie, but I understand. I understand why, not everything could translate to TV.
I think just the cast wouldn't translate to TV.
I agree.
And I think even with another movie that we're going to talk about, my friends like this would be great as a TV show, but I'm like the cast just doesn't translate like that.
No, not at all.
It's very difficult, because you got to pay people per episode, and on top of that, you got to pay them for promo and just their time and all. It's just harder, And for a movie with a huge cast like this, it's just so much worth it.
A movie studio budget is going to be smaller than a television studio budget, and so overall it's going to bring down production quality, which is why it translates so much better as a film.
And then I love the colors of this movie and the settings. Obviously, Denis Villeneuve is really cool. He did Blade Runner 44 or 49? I can't remember 44. The number. What else did he do?
It was like 49. That's what I thought. I could be wrong.
I think it is 49.
I could be wrong. It's okay.
I swear we podcast and watch movies, guys.
I'm bad with number movies. Okay, so I'm sorry, but Denis Villeneuve is really cool, and I always
it is 2049.
I think he did Interstellar as well.
That makes a lot of sense.
I'm going to double check that.
No, he didn't do Interstellar. That was was what's his name? Our guy, Nolan.
It's Nolan? Okay, so the thing with Nolan and Villeneuve is they have a lot of the same like vibes to movies, the dark tone movies. 2049. He did Arrival, which is kind of like a space movie. I really do like that movie too.
I could see, speaking of space movies, I could see Oscar Isaac in the next space movie.
He was in Star Wars.
I know, but I'm just saying, like playing like an astronaut exploring a planet. Like those kind of movies, like a a Matt Damon, like a.
You know what would have been fire? That George Clooney movie that we peeped at the beginning of the year. If that was Oscar Isaac.
No, that wasn't at the beginning of the year. Which
that was at the end. It was right at the end of 2019. It was
honestly, I don't even remember what happened last week.
I remember.
I was close.
Yeah,
or something like that. I think there was a movie where he did play an astronaut.
No, both of you guys are wrong. It is the movie at the beginning of the year. It was where he stayed on the planet and was trying to direct them back to Earth, and there was nothing else on Earth. And he had that girl, that little girl that he had to take care of. But she actually, the twist was like that she already died or something like that, or that he already died and he like imagined her the whole time in order to get through.
I do remember that.
Either way, if that was Oscar Isaac, that would have been fire. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
Oscar Isaac was in Annihilation.
Annihilation.
Oh, the Natalie Portman movie.
Yeah.
That
one was a trip.
That movie was fire. Yeah.
It was true. But overall, the movie Dune was done really well, and I am gonna give it a 7.
I'm very excited for the Duneverse. You see what I did there, boys? I'm very excited for the Duneverse. I give it about a 7 as well. You know what, Narik? I don't see you out here trying.
No, I mean, I commend you. I
got a pickup line. I got a pickup line. Ready?
Yeah.
Are you Zendaya? Because how you doing?
How you doing? Not that much. She's not in there that much, so she's not doing a lot.
Yeah.
She's doing the most for me.
All right, guys. For that, I give it a 6.
Nice.
I rated that.
What do you give it, Sincere?
I give it a 7.
You said a 7.
That's a very Narik rating.
I think I feel like
of him to fall asleep.
I feel like when I do watch,
give it a 6.
Yeah.
When I do watch movies at home, the score tends to be a little bit lower, not because of the movie, but I think just the experience alone.
Well, all films need a great score, right?
Yes.
And without the score, the film can be very bland and terrible.
This is true. A good score makes a very good movie.
The greatest score this year, in my opinion, is hands down Harder They Fall.
Man.
Bro. This score, the way they combined all these different genres.
Yeah.
Well, so first off, shout out Sean Carter.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Production was on point. Shout out to the cast. I'll pull up the cast right now to say all the names, but
yeah, we'll pull up the track list.
Everything about this film was 1, black excellence. 2, just excellent, right? And 3, this shit was like the greatest new age Western I have ever seen.
Yeah. Agreed. I totally agree. Yeah. No, I really like cowboy movies or Westerns. You know, I know Quentin Tarantino he did Django, which was a really cool, kind of like a Western in a sense.
Right.
But it kind of gave me those vibes off top, like that Django feel. But then when I go back to Django, I don't really, it's not too much of a Western, you know, because I feel like it's more Southern plantation style, you know, obviously it's during slavery and stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like with The Harder They Fall, it's not really, like, it is kind of, obviously, you know, Black people are still seen as, you know, not free, and also they have to kind of create their own way, their own path,
right.
Obviously, and creating their own little towns and creating gangs to pretty much survive and you know, and create their own economy and just, I don't know.
Historically, they had to have like their own towns and and you know,
their own banks.
And because of those things, a lot of these stories aren't shared. Like a lot of people don't know that Black people had these kinds of occupations for a long time. And I love how this movie just really highlighted all of that, and just having the cast that they had was incredible.
Insane, honestly.
So just to go through the cast, so if you guys haven't watched it yet, definitely go watch it. This film is centered around 2 gangs. We have the Rufus Buck gang. If you guys don't know who Rufus Buck is played by, we have the one, the only Idris Elba. The Knuckles. And then we have the Nat Love gang. We have the Nat Love gang. Nat Love, who else other than the you know, Jonathan the mystery man himself,
Jonathan Majors,
he who remains.
So
Kang the Conqueror.
Oh my gosh, Jonathan Majors is getting his flowers right now. I couldn't be more excited as a fan. I couldn't be more excited for him.
He's
as a
doing
person.
So much great things.
He's in his
country to Marvel to this to what was that movie? It was the one with the Five Bloods, and he had some of the actors are, well, at least one of the actors is from
who played the sheriff,
Delroy Lindo.
Delroy Lindo. His dad was his dad in the Five Bloods.
Which was really, really dope. And Zazie Beetz,
Regina King, Lakeith Stanfield, RJ Seiler, I think it is.
I think it's Seiler. Is there R in there? Is it CR or is it Kryler or is it Seiler?
It's Cyler, so Seiler, I believe it is.
Yeah, Seiler, RJ Seiler.
Danielle Deadweiler, super fire.
Yes.
Eddie Gathegi, I think it is. My guy Dion Cole. When I saw Dion Cole's name, I was like, "Yo,
in a non-comedic role." That was awesome.
Bro. The fact, okay, I was thinking about this the other day too.
Well, kind of. I mean, his whole movie was comedic with him eating the steak and talking to himself.
This is my town.
I thought he was actually talking to him, and then
I know,
like,
it was great.
He wants to meet you outside. He's like, well, I don't want to talk to him. He's like, that wasn't a request.
I thought that was great, man. I loved how the story unfolded. You know, it just kind of kicks off with like a bang, and you know, Netflix's film, it kind of sets the stage for how violent and how much like blood they were going to show.
Literally right off the bat.
You know, and I thought that the story was nicely tucked in while addressing everything as it goes through, and you know, it's great to see. I think it was Damon Wayans Jr. That was
Damon Wayans Jr. Yeah,
that was in there with the Crimson Hood gang.
Crimson Hood.
It's kind of hard to figure out which Wayans brother is which.
That's the one who survived, right?
Yeah, he was the one that survived. And
that beginning part, or when they were in the little valley, that part was so funny to me. Because what was the guy, the quick draw guy?
RJ.
That's RJ.
RJ Collar.
Yeah.
So he just popped up behind him,
mm-hmm.
and he was like, "What are y'all doing? What are y'all pointing at?" And he's like, "They're just having a casual conversation instead of just shooting." Mm-hmm. And then he was like, "He's something about I never liked you or something."
Yeah, because the guy that was arguing with him lost his eye.
Yeah, he's like, "You made me lose my eye," or something like that. And then he's like, "I'd rather not talk or something and just die." And then they quick draw him.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool. I always love the quick draw in Western movies. The suspense just builds, and you're just like, who's gonna win? And then they even mention it later. Is like the quickest person is usually the one who's alive. So it's like.
Right.
There's never two. There's always just going to be one.
The script in this movie was just so good. There were so many lines that were said that, like, I don't know, they were delivered great. It was just very, very. Whether it's Regina King talking about,
they're like buckshots, bro. Yeah, they're buckshots, bro. Like they hit you, but the movie's so fast paced, so it moves on to the next.
Yeah, it keeps going, and like it's almost like they don't like the lines aren't saved for a specific part. You know what I mean? It's like every scene you get something out of it that you're just like, oh man, I'm like, they're probably not going to say something cool like that again, but then they do it again, and then they do it again, and it's just you just get it throughout the entire movie. And I really enjoyed watching it. I watched it early this morning. I couldn't sleep, so I was like, I'm gonna just put it on.
Yeah.
And
it was a fun watch.
Such a fun, super
I know
Narik
Narik this morning was like all half asleep, and then as soon as he turned that film, he was like, "Wait a minute,
bro." Yeah. I was like, "All right, let me put it on." Like, I don't think I'm gonna be going back to bed. I put it on probably like around 4 or something like that. Daylight savings time kind of threw everything
ruining everything.
So it was like 4 a.m, and I was like, "All right, let me just put it on." And just from the jump. Jonathan Majors, his timing in his delivery of his lines, it just is so compelling for whatever reason.
He's too good, bro.
It doesn't feel like he's acting. It feels like he's just going off the cuff, and I just appreciate it. I appreciate like it, and honestly, the movie made me think, because I know, shout out, they had a great tribute to Chadwick Boseman
on the train.
And it just made me think, like, because I think Chadwick with Ma Rainey, I think he had a Netflix deal, before he passed away.
Dude, don't even tell me that, bro. Don't even tell me he could have been in the movie.
I'm just saying, I feel like he could have been in the movie, and I'm just wondering, like, who would he have played if he was in the movie? Would he have been Nat Love? I think he would have been
Nat Love. I think.
Nah, I don't see him. I don't see him being Nat Love. I definitely see him being like a Cherokee Bill.
Nah.
I don't know if he'd be the villain. Nah. That's the thing. Like, I don't know if he would play like that villainous role.
Yeah, he would.
I think he would have been Quick Draw, or Pickett. I feel like him being Pickett would have been.
Yeah.
I can see him as Pickett.
Like
yeah,
I could have seen him as Pickett. I mean, either Nat Love or Pickett. But I mean, having Jonathan Majors as the lead role, we know he's worthy of it.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
See him in so much, and he's killing it right now. There's just like a handful of actors right now that are just killing it. And speaking of actors that are killing it, we are going, like, this is for a future episode, but we are planning to do a Flickies, and I just added like a new category, and it's actor of the year. So there's a few in contention, and right now,
I like that
he's one of them. So
and for sure, feel free to hit us up, y'all. Like, if you guys have any category ideas or just people that you think deserve to be in there. Flickies are gonna be dope this year. It'll be very dope.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool movies, and this one is in contention for one of them too, for at least surprise movie of the year. Because I mean, we knew this movie was gonna come out. We didn't. When I first saw the cast, I couldn't believe it. And then not only that, it was gonna be a Netflix movie.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of movies that came out this year in streaming, and this is probably my favorite so far.
Yeah, hands down.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. It's definitely in my top 3 movies that have come directly into streaming. And it could have been in theaters, it could have been in theaters and made a whole bunch of money.
Oh, I hope if they put this in at Harkins, bro, I'm there.
Honestly, I would watch it again in theaters.
They might have already put it in theaters, probably select theaters though, something like that, or it's about to hit theaters, because just off the success, I could see it hitting theaters.
Yeah,
especially
it's
in the cast. It's worth promoting the movie that much more because of the cast. It's they all have their own pool. Idris Elba alone in this movie, he didn't even have to talk that much.
He didn't, and
his message came across. Yeah, he just had to look at you, and you're like, all right.
Yeah, I got Idris Elba is he can be scary. He could be the bad guy, kind of scary look. And I was listening to him kind of talk about the character and embodying just the presence that comes with it. He was like, bad guys. He said bad guys are written like just well in movies because of how complex they are. It's like usually when someone's writing a bad guy, you don't even know that he's really a bad guy when you're reading the script. It's just like someone who's conflicted with something. And he likes to take on those kinds of characters because you can put a little bit more into it. And I think as an actor, that's probably just really, really fun to play a complicated bad guy or, a good guy that's not like extremely moral in what they're doing. And I think Jonathan Majors really revels in that also. And that you're like that kind of actor when all the other actors are talking about you and like the time that they spend with you on a scene is like, okay, well, like he's blowing us away right now, of what's happening. And Jonathan Majors has gotten that from multiple of his castmates while he's been acting throughout this year. So just kudos to him. It was great seeing him opposite Idris Elba in that last scene. In the movie.
No spoilers, but is probably the best twist in a Western I've ever seen.
It was just a great callback and connection to the movie. I was talking with Skywalker Mike, and he was like, "Yeah, like I forgot how it was connected," and then it kind of hits you because there's so much going on that you think like, okay,
you forget about the whole first part of the movie.
You totally forget about it.
A little scene,
man. The way it pairs back with everything that was happening, it's just beautifully unraveled in front of you,
right?
And I just appreciate that. Who's the director? I think it's James.
Director is the. Well, it says The Bullets, but it's James Samuel.
James Samuel, and I believe that this is his first movie. Wow! And
not only that, he wonderful. He did the music as well. Just throwing that out there.
That's what I love. That's what I love about Netflix and all these streaming platforms. A lot of people are getting their chance to create something they've always wanted to do, and maybe these big studios aren't really like, yeah, we'll give you a shot. Maybe next time, maybe you get a movie under your belt and we can talk. And Netflix is like, yeah, here you go. Here's the reins of this crazy star-studded movie that we want to shoot, and we want it to be really good. And you've never done a movie, but we trust you. So
yeah, I mean, he came with it. I think that with Jay-Z producing and getting Netflix involved, they were able to get They were able to get the budget for it. And I do definitely have to commend Quentin Tarantino for making Django and putting 600 or what is it? I think it was 600 Bends by Rick Ross in there when Django was riding on the horse. I think that really like people really understood like, oh snap, black music and cowboys and westerns is just too good.
Right.
And this movie just took it up a notch with the reggae, bro.
Yeah,
man. Reggae.
So fire.
I've never heard reggae in a cowboy
ever.
movie.
I never heard it in my life, and I never realized I wanted it so much.
Yes.
Like,
yeah,
that's what I was saying. I was like, I didn't know we needed this. That's crazy.
it was just so good.
I want
and,
more
like,
of it, to be honest.
Yeah, me too.
Oh,
me
we're
too.
gonna get more. We're gonna get more.
Yeah, we will get more actually.
Instead of just like blues, because that's kind of what you expect. You expect
and
like
it,
some
and it
blues.
is kind of like blues, it's just
it's it's like it's not rhythm and blues, but like it's rhythm and blues. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's not from a more from like a descriptive standpoint.
The fact
blue
that
collar blues, I guess.
Yeah, the fact that a group of people that are just doing one task together and they just break out into song because that was the thing to do and that's what brought them together was executed perfectly in this film.
Yes. And a lot of people got their mouths busted open.
Sheesh.
As much as I love
so bloody,
us praising
so gory.
Idris and Jonathan Majors, I do need to commend Zazie Beetz and Regina King for killing those
Regina
leads.
King. Honestly, Regina King was probably like my second or third favorite character in this movie. She just really brought it. She had a really good attitude. I really liked her accent in the movie. She was so witty.
Ain't nincompoop.
Yeah. How'd you know he was even gonna say that? What are you gonna say, nincompoop? Well, we ain't knowing.
I thought it was great.
Wittiness. And like that whole train scene was just witty lines.
Incredible.
And I love that. That was my favorite
incredible scene. Yeah, like Lakeith Stanfield in that scene, Regina, like how they played off of each other and just they just had everything down to a T. It was like a well-oiled machine. And I loved it. I loved him counting down and like just the whole arithmetic banter. Man, it was just so good.
The words.
All the words were great. Even the quick draw that happened later on in the film without spoiling it. Like that was just it was just like man. It was just so good. Everybody would just say something that was slick and quick and powerful. And
well, there was something that Lakeith Stanfield said early in the movie. And I thought he was just saying it just to scare somebody or say it. But then later in the movie, he actually did what he said. And I was like, oh, he wasn't lying. He wasn't just saying that wittingly. He actually does that. So I thought, I don't want to spoil it too much, but
man, I loved when he did it. Well, I think I know what you're talking about when he did it. And he was like, no. He said, don't give me that look. And I was like, yo, this is nuts. Like, it was just it was so good. It was crazy.
Yeah, that was a really good part.
Overall rating, I gave this film a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm probably there with you. 10
out of 10?
It's getting my 10. It's getting my 10.
Damn.
It is a 10 out of 10.
You got the Norik stamp of approval, baby.
There's nothing that I could point out that I wanted any different. The all white town, hilarious.
Oh, bro!
What a great commentary!
White town was
what a great
wild.
Commentary. Like it being painted white, just comedy. It was just comedy.
Not only that, but just that it popped up on screen. A white town.
Yeah. And shout out Cuffy. Cuffy was great.
Yeah, she was dope.
It was just my only thing is that Zazie, you got to double tap. That's it. You got to double tap. Like you double tapping is crazy to me.
I'm trying to double tap Zazie. What's good, girl? If you're watching this podcast,
damn it, sincere.
You tainted it.
Oh no, it's okay.
We were doing well.
It's really cool. It's pretty cool.
Yes.
And not really spoiling too much, I guess, but there is going to be a second part of this
Hopefully,
movie.
yes. Give us a number 2.
Hopefully we get John David Washington in the second one, and
oh man,
and then we can talk. That would be crazy,
bro. John David Washington and Denzel in a film together.
Oh, if Denzel also pulled up,
bro, Denzel's been in a Western.
Yeah.
Denzel being in the movie would be fantastic. I mean, having father and son in a movie, I think that they're waiting on pulling that trigger. Like,
you know what? Just throw Will Smith and Jaden Smith in there too. Just
honestly, I would really like Will Smith in the movie. I think Will Smith being in there would be kind of cool.
Yes.
He just it's just hard because
he needs
like,
another chance at a Western movie.
Yeah, right. Then Wild Wild West. It's difficult because Will Smith is Will Smith when you see him.
Right.
You know,
even but I mean, there's so many people in this movie that you would think, oh, that's their typical role, and then totally switched up. You know, it's totally different.
Yeah,
and I think he can be put in that like spot for a movie.
He would need to be okay with doing like one or two just scene stealing parts. You know, like I would love Will Smith, not necessarily as Will Smith throughout the whole movie, but if they go to like a different town or a different spot and he's like the sheriff there, but like he doesn't leave the town or anything like that, and it's just some really, really good scenes, I think that would be awesome.
It could be done.
Well, that's how powerful this type of film is. Before we wrap up on it, that's how powerful this film is, because you can get really high respected actors to do just a very little scene. To complement the film, do what needs to, and that's it. Yeah, exactly.
Throw Cat Williams in there too, just for the.
Oh no! You know what? Get Terry Crews. Where's Ice Cube at? Put Ice Cube on a horse.
A low key Ice Cube. That'd be hilarious.
Put Ice Cube on a horse.
There's a lot of names that can be tied to the movie, just based off the way they write it, the chemistry.
Throw Kendrick in there.
It's pretty. Hey, don't give me
like evening, brother.
Amazing, brother.
Top of the morning.
Top of the morning.
So we have one more movie to talk about.
Man, we've been waiting. Been waiting.
This movie,
the MCU.
It's Eternals. If you didn't know which movie we're going to talk about, but a lot of people gave this movie grief on the internet. Not in person.
I don't want to say. I don't want to say.
Word of mouth. I haven't heard nothing bad.
It was the fact that Rotten Tomatoes has such a shit algorithm,
it's
and that people listen. People don't know how to create their own opinion before going to see a film, and they don't know how to do research.
Because I remember going to Twitter after seeing the movie because I wanted to see what people are talking about. People are usually raving about the movie, and it seemed kind of split. I remember reading this comment saying that. I guess he follows this reviewer and that the reviewer said it was a bad movie. So he's like, I didn't even go watch it because I heard it was a bad movie. And why would I waste my money? But it's like, why not just form your own opinion? You know, like if you think you're going to like the movie, just go watch it, you know, and especially it's a Marvel movie. It's not going to let down. And it really, I think, lived up to the hype. But for a lot of people, I think they expected something different, you know, in most Marvel space movies, we have a lot of comedic relief. It's a lot of like, I guess it's in space, you know, but this one
more like Shakespearean.
Was on Earth. Yeah. Right. This one was a lot more Shakespearean. It was a lot more like a play. You know, there's a lot of British actors, so it's kind of like
every actor's British.
Yeah, every actor's British now.
Man, how dare you?
I think Jonathan Majors is British.
Oh, yeah, he is. Unfortunately,
you guys are ridiculous.
But yeah, no. The movie. Let's just kind of jump into it real quick.
Cool. Yeah. So just to jump in on the cast, we have Angelina Jolie as Thena.
Hey,
we got Richard Madden as Icarus.
Oh yeah.
Whole film was Icarus simping, but we'll get into that. Gemma Chan as Cersei.
Cersei.
The Latin love of my life, Salma Hayek as Ajak. We have Don Lee as Gilgamesh. Boy got hands.
Ah, yeah, he's dope.
We got Barry Keoghan as Druig, Norik's guy.
Yeah, he's fire.
Kumail Nanjiani
Kingo
as Kingo.
Yeah, I think it's Nanjiani.
And we have Brian Tyree Henry, Paperboy as Fastos. And lastly, we have Leah McHugh as Sprite. That is Lauren Ridloff. She's a silent but most effective.
She's a silent assassin.
And then also Kit Harington as Dane Whitman in the film.
AKA so the Black Knight.
Right? I thought he was going to be an Eternal. I don't know why. Because
really?
Watching the trailer, you see all these people. Like you see them all, but then you kind of forget who's actually who. But now that you watch the movie, it's like, okay, now you definitely know who's who.
He's like us. I mean, I I know who Dane Whitman is and who he's supposed to be just from a comic perspective, but also in the trailer, he was like supposed to be us as the audience. Like, why didn't you stop Thanos or any other war? When he said that, I was like, okay, that's kind of who he's playing. This movie,
I forgot about that part of the trailer, honestly.
This movie, even though that it suffered like review bombs, I'm really surprised that we haven't got to a place of understanding that the MCU is going to have certain things attached to their movies. And what I mean by that is, all of these fans are still looking for this version of these comic book movies that's super faithful to the comic book, super, there's just aspects of it that they think are supposed to be in the movie. And I'm just surprised, like, the MCU is 24, 25 movies in. Like, they've already shown that they're not going to do that. Like, it's not going to be the way that you think it's going to be from a comic book perspective, and they're going to take certain liberties.
I just think it's too hard to do exact comic book representation.
Can't. Some of the things that people think would represent well live action are like, that's why you don't make movies, because you don't understand certain nuances that you have to have from a movie standpoint.
Reference.
It's like you can't really do that. So for me, with Eternals, like, there was something that I expected from Eternals. I did expect I didn't expect it to be such a contained movie. But then I found out, like, that's what Chloe Zhao was tasked with. They said, make an origin film and make it stand alone. I thought it was going to be a film that needed to be connected with so many different things coming out of the MCU or what was to come.
It is a little bit.
Sort of, but they didn't, for how long they covered in the MCU, which is 7,000 years that they covered, there weren't glimpses of things that I thought they would kind of tie in, with them kind of going through that amount of time within the MCU. Yeah. But other than that,
I feel like they did. The only thing they intertwined the Eternals, like you said, I thought it was going to be more Marvel stuff that I was going to be intertwined with, maybe like with Captain Rogers or even before Captain Rogers, all that stuff. Probably even the meteorite that landed in Wakanda. I thought we were going to get a lot of that stuff, but it was
maybe
more
Shang-Chi stuff.
It was more like history based, like that the pretty much the first genocide of the Aztecs,
right?
And then we get the Mesopotamia,
Babylon.
Like, it's mostly just like actual,
actual history.
Actual history, like, so I thought that was kind of cool. It kind of brings it to like, this actually did, like, your history happened in the MCU history.
Yep.
Like, it's not too separate other than having superhumans.
Right.
It's
android alien.
Yeah, it's also like a testament to how Marvel views their superheroes. Like, it's not about their alter ego, it's about who they are as a person. So that's what makes Marvel heroes so relatable, is that it takes place in our universe. And that's why, like, they can and DC is more mythological, and like, so they have the Supermans and they have the Batmans get mentioned because the MCU is supposed to be our timeline.
I was in the movie theater like, did they just say Batman?
Yeah.
And did they just say Superman? I was like, what the?
Look, man, all I'm saying is we're not too far away from a Marvel versus DC movie at all. That's not out of the picture at all.
I don't think it's going to happen, man, because DC is made up in the Marvel universe. It's not like something that's gonna, like, unless they do. I mean, you have multiverses. So
look, man, you got Doctor Strange doing spells to erase people's
anything
minds.
Is possible.
He wants to make those comic book characters come to life. Shit.
Yeah,
I mean, Icarus is Superman technically,
right?
But I think it's also like low-key a jab at DC, where it's like, your stuff, like, it couldn't exist. Like, our stuff could exist, but like your stuff, it just couldn't exist.
We keeping you relevant. You welcome.
Yeah. It's like Wonder Woman. She just just an imaginary thing.
Thena is the real.
Exactly.
Angelina Jolie did such a. Thena's character throughout the film.
I thought she was gonna be way, way, way more prominent.
Well, she was.
No. In a sense, where like, I guess, I mean, yeah, she was, but
she's one of the focal points of the film, which is dope though because it led us into that deep dive of the Celestials and what causes the Celestials to do what they do, more or less, on why the Eternals are there and what their mission really is.
Well, they have these two timelines, right? You have the past and you have the present, and they kept jumping back and forth between them, which I liked. And I loved it. Seemed in the past, she's this warrior. In the present, has PTSD, basically, you know, and so
her memories are like overloaded. You know,
exactly.
Her body can't contain all of it unless her
called mad weary.
Yeah. And I loved how they kind of broke up the group, you know, kind of like in duos, you know, that and then they had those kinds of they had that interaction.
Cersei, Sprite.
And I thought that to introduce 10 new heroes and weave them in, that's difficult. And I loved it.
I was still like watching the movie, like, how are they gonna do this? How are they gonna do this? Like, it's so done so well. And I mean, that's the best way you can do it. You have to kind of split them up. Having them like together the whole time, it's kind of hard to really focus on one person or the other. I think the Eternal we got the least of was Phastos. I think it's because he built a family and they kind of I think they respected that of him.
I think the least we got was Makari.
Makari as well, because she was hiding in the ship.
Yeah, she was in the ship.
But that final scene, bro, Makari was out here, bro.
She was giving him the hands.
She gave the hands, bro, and nobody expected her to do that because in the very first scenes of the film, she was just moving fast and getting people out the way, but she was throwing hands, bro.
Yeah, she was.
Kingo wasn't in that scene, right? In that last scene.
No, Kingo wasn't in the last scene.
Which pissed me off, but I mean, you know,
he was neutral. He was just like, I'll let you guys.
He just kind of dipped out.
Well, bro, he was in love with Icarus. Him and Sprite be pissing me off, dog.
Oh my! When they kept saying whatever you want to do, it's like Icarus kept saying, "I'm not the leader. Why do you keep asking me?"
That was my only gripe. Not only gripe, but I wish that Sprite's motivation was a little bit more telegraphed throughout the film. I feel like it was just kind of thrown in there towards the end. I know that they had that. I know that they had that conversation and then like Kingo brought it up on the ship, but I just didn't think that it was enough to get her to do what she did towards the end of the movie, you know? And then when she was explaining it, I just felt like the acting wasn't really there. You know, it was kind of like a little wooden with that. I was like, I don't feel your passion.
There was one thing that Kingo said that kind of like, I was like, oh, she is kind of like, that when he said that you're like Tinkerbell, and I was like, oh, she's kind of like Tinkerbell, and then her name is Sprite, so I was like, interesting. So you know, I mean, Tinkerbell loves Peter, but Tinkerbell can never be with.
So Peter. Obviously, we can go on and on about like the characters and the development and how all they all have their own backstories, but let's kind of jump into the Deviants because
the Deviants.
Well, that's so shout out Bill Skarsgård. Because he was the voice of the Deviant.
The main Deviant.
Yeah, the main Deviant. Where we kind of find out that the Deviants are one of the same with the Eternals. It's kind of like
they're just created by the same.
It's created by the Celestials. It's kind of like if you want to give the Bible comparison, where this is the first run at it, and now we need something to kind of wipe these out. And so you enter the Eternals, where their main mission is to get rid of the Deviants / get Earth ready for the emergence.
My thing about the Deviants is that I did not like how they looked.
Really?
I felt the CGI was something out of a Marvel Fox movie for the Deviants. I don't know why that is for me. It really just reminded me of the CGI from Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, my main CGI like focal point that I didn't like was the enhanced Deviant. because he just looked too
Ultron.
Yeah, he looked like they tried to make him look like Ultron, but Ultron looked more realistic than he did.
I think that's the effect that you get when you use real backgrounds, like how Chloe Zhao was using, and then them trying to put this CGI on top of it,
sticking out like a sore thumb.
Understanding that that's what they were doing, I really did enjoy the movements of the CGI, like how everything was moving and how they were fighting each other through all of this stuff. I thought it was pretty flawless, especially the fight in the Amazon. The fight in the Amazon
that was a
really
perfect fight scene.
Yeah, and I do have some gripes with Crow, because like the deviants are more sentient than they were shown. They only showed Crow as like the sentient, deviant, and spoiler throughout the movie how he becomes that is by taking powers of the other Eternals.
Yeah,
and
it's evolving really.
Yeah,
just learning. That he can do that.
From an origin standpoint, I think that's cool. But again, to like build out a larger universe, Crow would have been an amazing villain to kind of keep around, who can affect
I just feel like he was really
sci-fi. I mean, not the sci-fi, but just the cosmic.
Yeah, I feel like the deviants were really just, I don't know, just thrown in there just to make us think in the trailers, oh, those are the real villains, and then just throw you off, like, not really.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, they are a part of who the Eternals are, right? So yes and no.
Yes, I just feel like it could have been written a little. Yeah, they were the villain.
I'm just saying, like, I don't think that there were villains in the movie. Like, that's why the movie was written the way that it was written,
Right.
And that's why Crow said what he said. He was like, y'all been killing our people over and over again. Like, I'm gonna get you back for that, and like you have certain Eternals that were very duty bound to Arishem and the Celestial, and then you have other Eternals that were very for the humans. So it just kind of all came to a head, which is pretty interesting. And man, I mean, the one thing I want to say is just the Celestial was just amazing to see, like Arishem and the way that they did that and the communication with it was beautiful. It was scary. It was gigantic. I was just this is nuts.
I feel like I'm the only one in the world that anytime there is a big entity, huge being, that a super deep, like low end voice just isn't it. Like why can't they sound like me? No, I don't know. I've just it's never appealed to me.
Bro, like, that's not how sound works, like it's just gonna take up too much space. Like
but like I'm bigger than Skywalker and his voice is lower than mine.
But he's gonna sound
it's not fair.
No, I know probably does sound like you to other Celestials, but to us, it's like it's booming,
Right?
Yeah, that's radiating through your body for sure.
My goodness.
Yeah,
imagine it like at a festival. I just want like a giant like celestial stage. Yeah, like Arishem stage. Oh,
like drones.
If y'all want to start supporting the podcast so Narik can get the voice of Arishem on his next album, please. Subscribe to us on everything on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram. Narik's gonna get Arishem to announce every song on his album.
Yeah.
So.
I just loved how large.
Yeah, one of the things that I really liked about the movie too was the artifacts, just like random artifacts that they would collect, or take. Like, well, whatever happened to this artifact? Well, maybe it's on the Celestial ship.
Artifacts what was the opening scene?
Like Excalibur.
Yeah.
Oh, the golden blade.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
artifacts that shaped America or shaped the human race.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool too, and I love the mention of the ebony blade.
It's amazing.
Instead of Excalibur. I feel like that they could have gone into that too, like Makari and what she had in there. Like they could have gone more from a historic
because
standpoint.
To them, like they're artifacts and they're part of the world, but they're also nothing to them. They're just like things. Because at the end of the day, that they know that's not their mission. They know that eventually once our mission here is done, we're just gonna leave with all the artifacts and be like, hey, this is what we have from Earth, type of thing. It's kind of like a show off type thing. But to humans, like if somebody were to find Excalibur, that is insane. Like you are like, yeah, you're gonna be praised for the rest of your life.
You're the one.
And then the Eternals don't really care about that. They see no value. True. It's priceless. It's to them, it's like a souvenir.
Yeah. One thing sorry, go ahead, Sincere.
No, I was just gonna say, just again, it being like an origin film, not just of the Eternals, but then we get people like Dean, and you get people like Arishem. Dane. Sorry.
Dane.
Dang it, I'm half asleep. My bad, guys. Anyways, the Black Knight. Like you get these characters that and then we'll jump into like those credit scenes, but like you get all these. Like the next phase is here, and like this film just shows how little the Infinity Saga was.
Yeah,
and we keep talking about that through like Loki, but this fully showed like our.
No, even in this one, it's still being talked about. The effects of the snap, and the reason that Ajax wanted to save, the humans is because of what they did, the snap and stuff like that. So they just see that people are worth so much more, and because of what they do for one another. So, and it all relates back to Thanos too, eventually. If you guys do want to hop into the mid-credit scene a little bit, we do get, I don't know if it's a spoiler. I don't know if you guys actually want to touch on it.
I want to talk about it because, man, I'm so hyped. But Narik, before we jump into that, I know you had one more thing to say.
Yeah, I feel like that with the Celestial coming out of the planet,
and it's there forever now.
Yeah, like it being in. There's just so much I just hope that they address all of this stuff. Like you can't just. There's an alien thing that just came out of the planet. Like you can't just.
It's not the first time.
It's not the first time.
Ego did it.
This is true, but they don't know Ego. Like that's
but
all.
The
cosmic,
thing still didn't it still like get
it took over a Dairy Queen. Come out? It took over a Dairy Queen.
No, the goop didn't come out.
I thought it did.
Which they have to address that too. Of like Ego being a Celestial, and like how was he a Celestial?
He's a different kind of Celestial. He's more like an organic Celestial who can reproduce.
There's just they created it where there's just a lot more explanation, right? And
right.
You gotta figure out, okay, well, if Thanos is also a deviant / eternal, like a eternal with deviant blood or like whatever, how does that happen? If these Eternals are not quite organic, but not quite cyborg, how do you get more? And like all of these different things, like which Celestials are in charge of what? How come Ego didn't have his own set of Eternals or deviants, within his planet? All this stuff that they have to discuss.
Because he was his planet.
Yeah, but
he's a brain.
Overall, one of my favorite shots was the end. Before we get to the end credit scene, is like when Arishem just parts the clouds. Bro, when he just parts the clouds and you just see his face and is like, come here. Like we need to talk.
Get over here.
Get over here.
I couldn't believe it. That was really scary. That was like probably one of the more shocking things that I've seen in the MCU. Right. Like, oh, I didn't know that this was about to happen. Like, this is crazy.
Everybody on planet Earth,
every single person saw that. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So
and he didn't care.
I wonder what that has to do. Like, what will Doctor Strange do? What will
that's my
Wanda
thing.
do? It's like everybody saw it. It's gonna be on the news for one of the next movies. They're gonna be like
and I just
another alien being just out of the sky.
I really want the MCU to start addressing these things. Like, you got to start talking about these things. Like one of the beautiful things about WandaVision is just that first 10 minutes of the 4th episode of seeing a live look of the blip like happening. You know what I mean? Like, that was just beautiful. And there's too much happening to our world, hypothetically, within the MCU, that like I don't want to just see another movie like 5 months after that without them talking about it.
The thing is, they're used to it. Like they're so desensitized to all this stuff. They're like, oh wow, alien in the sky, whatever.
Oh,
hey, how was your
yeah.
day? Type of thing. Because I mean, the blip happened for 4 years. There's people disappeared, and then they just appeared out of nowhere again.
Imagine you get blipped and you come back like this shit's still going on.
I mean, it's probably just weird to the people that got blipped, because to them they just blinked and then they're like, "What happened?" You know? And then they're like, "Oh my god, what is that in the sky?" And then the other guy's like, "Oh, first time."
Like, first time here, yeah.
That's crazy. But yeah, end credit scenes. What we got?
So we should just do the mid credit.
So mid credit scene, we get. Why am I spacing out on her name? But so we get
Eros.
So we get Thena, we get Makari, and we get Druig on the
in his cool leather jacket in space.
On his cool leather jacket, they're on the cube. What's it called? The cube.
Bink Sprite, like boop.
Bro, she deserved it, man. Got her ass. So we get them on their little nacho chip, their nacho ship.
Yeah.
And then the little Dorito in the sky, and then they feel a presence.
Monolith.
At this point in the theater, nobody knows what's about to happen. And then you get none other than Pip. My boy Pip. Patton Oswalt. Pip the Troll.
Pip the Troll.
He is announcing. Nobody knows who it is. Everybody's there like, who the hell is he introducing?
I was confused as to what was going on.
So I was like, Adam Warlock's getting announced right now. Like, I don't get what's happening.
I thought that's who it was.
I was like, Adam Warlock's getting announced right now. And then Pip the Troll just gives the biggest, intro. And then he says the words, Brother of Thanos. Prince of Titan, Brother of Thanos, defeater of Black Roger. Black Roger. Yeah. So walks in, half of the theater screams, Harry fucking Styles. Excuse my language.
I was like, Harry Styles.
So excuse my language, but if you guys do not know, Eros is the god of love, the god of sex. So the casting of one of this generation's biggest sex symbols, Harry Styles, is probably the greatest casting Marvel has done yet.
If it wasn't going to be Harry Styles, it was just going to be Justin Bieber. So I'm glad.
Oh God! Well, so Chloe Zhao did say
no. Though this was their thought process. Is he British? Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Bullshit. I hate it. So Chloe Zhao says she's been keeping her eyes on Harry Styles since was the Dunkirk? There we go. Since Dunkirk, and he did a great job at Dunkirk. Harry Styles is a great actor. He is a great actor.
Zayn was going to be the one.
Zayn Malik fell off. But anyways, Harry Styles comes out as Eros, and he turns out to be the Eternal for Titan. And he knows where to find their friends.
Yeah.
Which is none other than Phastos, Cersei, and Kingo.
Yeah.
So cut the mid-credit scene. Yeah. So cut the mid-credit scene.
I really loved his outfit. I thought it was a great blend of the Eternals outfit with
like Shazam,
or like a royal, like a kind of royal garb.
Well, he's full of himself, bro. Like it fit the character so well. Yeah, and he's a prince. He's literally a superhero Prince Charming.
Yeah. Well, that's his superpower. He makes people like
he can control. Yeah, him. So he can control people's emotions in the comics,
which I'm sure pissed Thanos off.
I mean, he did have a butt chin.
I mean, Thanos just always probably got in trouble.
He had the deviant
and Eros was just like
he looked like Grimace.
Right. Yeah, it's probably going to be like a Thor and Loki story for sure. I mean, I'm hyped to get a Brother of Thanos. I did see articles about it. I didn't know it was going to happen in a mid-credit scene, and maybe we'll get more backstory of Titan. I mean, we've been even in Loki, they mentioned the planet Titan a lot. Just in little Easter eggs and stuff. So I'm very curious to see what is going to come from it.
It's a moon, I think, right?
It's a moon of Jupiter, ninth moon of Jupiter, or something like that.
Yeah, I feel like, again, that was, to me, like, I appreciate the mid-credit scene, but because it had to be a standalone movie, you couldn't really expand on that. I remember when the Eternals was first getting talked about, like a young Thanos was being thrown around as being in the movie,
right?
Or like kind of exploring what that is. And not really getting that, not really getting like a connection to the mutant gene, and how that affects our world, not really getting connections to some of these other things is a little bit of a bummer. So I
It's hard to
understand,
do
like,
that when the movie has 10 characters. You gotta.
and I totally get that, like you have to look at the MCU as like, okay, what is the role of the movie's entry in this
Right.
whole timeline before you start being upset that you're not getting what you want in the movie,
And
that's why
I don't think it fully mentions in the film what part of the timeline this is happening on.
No.
well, technically
No
it's like
Marvel movie
7
does that,
days.
really.
It's 7 days after the blip is when
It's
this
supposed
is
to be
going on.
2023 or 24 or something like that.
Yeah, it's 7 days after the blip because
Like after people come back, like everybody comes back.
after people
Okay.
come back, because it was 6 days from the emergence after everybody came back. So it's only 7 days after, which technically means that like it happened before WandaVision, and it would happen before Captain America: Winter Soldier. It happened before Loki. It would happen before all the shows because it would be Endgame, and then it would jump into Eternals after that. Yeah. So it's interesting. You have to look at where the entry is. That's what I look at, like in any Marvel movie, and I feel like they should be more forthcoming with that information, and that would deter expectations. Because if you're like, all right, this movie is set at this time, you're like, okay, this is the role that it's taken. That's why Doctor Strange 2, Scott Dickerson stepped away because he wanted to make a contained sequel of Doctor Strange 2, and they were like, no, we need this. Yeah, it's like we need this movie to usher in all kinds of other stuff. So that's where you leave with creative differences. And same thing with Quantumania. It's like we need that movie to usher in all kinds of stuff. So that's the role that it's going to play. So now that Eternals is self-contained, Spider-Man and the Multiverse of Madness, they have really high expectations.
Even though it's self-contained, I mean, we're gonna see the Eternals again, whether it's a team up or Eternals.
Some of
2,
them we'll see some of the Eternals. They maybe not. They maybe won't all be a team like that, but we'll see some of them.
Eventually, I think. Yeah. I think we're getting there. There's obviously a bigger celestial at play here that we'll see, hopefully.
Mephisto. Just kidding.
Yeah, but we'll see.
So real quick before we wrap up, end credit scene, very brief, very quick. You see the Black Knights.
Dane Whitman opened up his box full of the ebony blade that looks amazing.
It looks crazy, and then I forget the words it says in Latin, but I think it is "Death is my reward." Yeah, It says "Death is my reward," and he's about to touch it, and as you can see, the sword actually starts drawing itself closer to him.
It's actually the blade itself is supposed to be like
it's like some demon or something like that, right?
It's like symbiote of sorts.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the origin of it in the comic books.
And we hear somebody kind of cut in. We don't see them on screen. We hear a voice saying, "Are you sure you want to do that, Mr. Whitman?
It was Mephisto.
Are you sure you're ready for that?" Exactly. Mephisto MCU confirmed. No, it is none other. And nobody knew right away.
Prince Ali.
Oh no.
Prince Ali.
The mighty is he. No, we get Mahershala Ali.
Yeah. He's also known as Prince Ali. He was a rapper.
Was he
before
really?
He was an actor, yeah.
Oh no.
Fun fact. Yeah. But yes, we get our first taste of Blade, which it seems like he's already Blade, or at least I don't know. He seems like he's knowledgeable. Which is interesting also because you kind of put him in this timeline of like knowing what's about to happen, and kind of like I got recruitment vibes from it. I feel like everybody's recruiting right now.
Everybody's putting together a team.
I wonder if that scene where he's grabbing the blade is an actual like a longer scene in a movie or a show. So, because that's how it usually is, I think. Not usually, but sometimes these mid-credit or end-credit scene is just like a small little preview into a much bigger scene that's going to take place.
So just to give you guys a little bit of backstory for the listeners, in the comics, Black Knight and Blade are actually in a squad M13 working together. So we can see them pop up in any Disney Plus show at any point.
It's gonna be Moon Knight for sure.
So I'm super excited. It's crazy because a lot of people aren't familiar with Kit Harington.
But
a lot of people aren't familiar with Kit Harington, but obviously, like those who do know who he was, like you had to know off the bat that his character was going to be bigger than just a supporting role in this film.
I didn't think he was actually. I was like, damn, they really didn't give this guy a good role. And then,
especially with the build of like my past is very intricate. My past is very da 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 da.
Who Cersei most probably knows.
Yeah, she knows.
Yeah, there's no way she doesn't know.
But she can't interfere. So there you go.
Yeah.
It's because it has to do with the conflict with humans.
That's right. Overall,
she's just kind of like
8 out of 10. I give it an 8 out of 10. I'm very happy with the movie.
Yeah, I'll give it an 8.
Yeah, I give it an 8 also. I give it an 8.
Look at us. Look at us.
All agreeing. Yeah, it's cool. It makes me really excited for the future. I think that Marvel's going to have to start incorporating a lot of their shows to advance the story. Also,
right.
You know,
that's what Moon Knight is for sure.
There's just too much. There's too much for them to talk about. You know,
I mean, that's the reason why they're going down that path. I think, you know, you can't really do 6 movies a year, so might as well do like 3 movies a year, and then do like 2 or 3 shows, and fit the in betweens, and that way the consistency is there, and you always have people going to the movies or on your platform. So,
right,
it's a pretty good formula, I think.
Yeah, right. And I also think, just real quick, sorry, I think that a lot of the villains, we're not getting all of the Avengers together to culminate to one villain. I think we're only going to get pockets and sections of Avengers or heroes fighting a big enough villain that like is a problem. But I don't think that we're like, for example, Kang the Conqueror. I don't think that Kang is going to require everybody to fight him. I think it's going to be like one group that we're starting to groom to fight him, and then there's going to be another big villain and another big villain. So it's kind of like factioned off. So, that's just my guess. Just wanted to put that in the universe.
You know what? In all things, the MCU is doing right by us, and I'm very excited to see what's to come. That being said, I know we touched on the Eternals like a lot, so shout out to you if you're still here. Let us know what you thought about the film.
Of course,
if you have any theories,
they love us.
Yeah, well, yeah, but still, I need them to know that I know that we're appreciative of who they are.
We love you.
Oh, yeah, we'll probably end it here though.
Yeah, just real quick, Derbs, we love you. Shout out to Derbs, guys. Give him a follow. That's my guy. Real quick, just to touch base before kind of go. Here at the Soundflick Podcast, we're all about community, right? So that being said, follow Productive Culture, hit up productiveculture.com/podcasts. Tell them Soundflick Boys sent you if you want to start up your pod. But even more than that, we're all about safety, right? All of us are avid festival goers. Narik being able to do both sides, kind of being behind the scenes and go to them. Me and Skywalker going to festivals. Where me, I even throw my own. That being said, our hearts go out to everybody that has been affected during the Astro World Festival.
Yes.
If you guys are unaware, Travis Scott threw his annual Astro World Fest in Texas, and there were 8 deaths and very many dozen hospitalized. We don't have all the full facts on what caused any of these things, but the visuals that have been coming off of socials of the staff being negligent, people not caring for others and not taking care of one another, and Travis Scott himself kind of, I don't want to get too much into that, but not being as compassionate as you should be. It just got announced today as well that he will no longer be performing a day in Vegas. He was replaced by Post Malone. So if you're a Travis Scott fan, this is no attack towards you. This is just us letting you know that we're here for you. If you want to talk about anything, be safe. Take care of the people around you. Take care of your community. Because stuff like this, it's very preventable. It's very preventable, and it's unnecessary at this point, especially us coming back from lockdown. You know, we're supposed to be outside celebrating with one another. We're not supposed to be basically trampling each other into the ground. So just wanted to give that last tidbit before we go. But with that being said, y'all, this has been this has been the Soundflick Podcast, episode 59. We can't wait to jump into episode 60. We got some special things planned. Disney Plus Day, y'all. It's almost here. But with that being said, my name is Ace Sincere. Now to my right-hand side, we have
Skywalker Mike.
And down below, we got the one, the only.
Norik, that's cool.
All right, outro, y'all. You have a safe evening, morning, whenever you listen to this pod. Bye.
Peace.